I am.
in here.
It's a bit of a rundown, those stairs, so forgive me if I look a bit dishevelled, but you know, it's all going on up there in Hotline Central.
A little winded.
Should we get on with some news?
Let's do it.
Well, the first topic that comes to attention is the AVoIP. AVoIP, IT in AV. Quite a techie section, but I'll come back to my thoughts on this in a minute. I want to hear your thoughts first, Justin.
Sure. In this article, James King, writing for Higher Ed AV Media, first he said, look, AV over IP is interesting for the university market. It's going to help make our classrooms more streamlined. But then he went on to acknowledge some of the technical, I don't even want to say challenges, but some of the new techniques, new best practices, and new kinds of systems that an administrator, that a designer needs to be aware of and understand. And he framed it in terms of some of the courses that he took at Infocom back in October. And it looked to me like he did just the right things, covering some of the important bases, including multicasting, including some talk about power over Ethernet, issues around security. So he did a good job of sort of covering. His article is not going to teach you those things. His article is laying out, here are the things that you should learn, whether at an Infocom or somewhere like right here in the SDVoE Academy, where we teach about many of those same concepts. Matt, what stood out for you?
Yeah, along the same lines, the technology thing is very, very important. There's a number of, if you're reading through this and you're thinking, oh wow, this is going over my head a little bit, then we urge you that you need to be confident in the terminology used within this piece. He talks about layer 4, layer 3, he talks about TCP/IP, lots of protocol information in there, IGMP, a layer 3 protocol used for multicasting, and how that is effectively supporting AVoIP. So understanding this technology is extremely important for you. It also talks about the zero trust architecture, which I found quite interesting. The whole, the fact that you must follow proper security practices if we're going to make the most out of AVoIP. It's the next step in classroom designs, but it does need knowledge. Don't read this through and think, oh, I'll just leave that to the tech heads to do this. Everything you need is on Academy to learn all about this, but please do. Step up your knowledge, be confident, and it's really going to help you moving forward.
You're the first person I've ever heard pronounce it AVoIP in my life. I like that. I say let's go for it. Let's start a new trend. Hashtag AVoIP. Oh, wait a minute. That's not going to work as a hashtag, is it? Because they'll just see AV. Oh. Anyway, one of the things I wanted to highlight from the article, James talked about power over Ethernet as a new design issue. It's not just a great new easy way to plug in devices, right? Isn't that wonderful? Your network device can get its power and its signal through a single cable. But if you start doing a lot of that, that's going to put a lot of power demands on the switch that has to deliver all that power. So now it becomes, well, if I have 25 devices and they're 22 watts each, then my switch can produce 600 watts. You've got to think through one more issue in the design. Something I wanted to highlight, and I'll be honest, brag about a little bit, is that here in the SDVoE ecosystem, one of our founding and steering members, Semtech, actually who happens to be a sponsor of this week's show, has developed an ASIC chip for delivering SDVoE functionality. So now the member companies of SDVoE who use that can take advantage of huge power savings. So now an AV over IP encoder that might have consumed 15, 17, 18 watts before on an FPGA-based platform might consume 5 or 6 or 7 watts now. You can see huge power savings. So I think especially as power over Ethernet comes to the fore as a viable and reliable, what am I trying to say, as a commonplace technology, that kind of power savings that an ASIC that SDVoE can deliver is going to be really huge.
Indeed. Okay, well, let's move to the second piece of news, which actually warmed my heart when I read this. It's fantastic that the Epson are joining forces with low-cost wireless tech firm World Media, or World Mobile rather, to bring low-cost but effective and really needed wireless tech to the people out there in Africa who just don't have any access to any tech. You know, these guys are completely unconnected to ironically to everything that we've just been talking about. You know, if we're spending time, money, and effort, really raising the bar with technology. What's really lovely about this article is it's showing that, you know, we're also making the effort to get out there and really support the people that absolutely need it. It's not their fault. They need to get involved with technology. They need the technology to be educated, to get up to speed, and join us with this new technology trend coming across the globe. And this, for me, this is really shaping the way for things to come. So, a great article.
I mean, we saw in the Q&A on the screen before, we're spending tens of billions of dollars on educational technology. Presumably because we as a society believe that holds value. Our students will learn better, will have better outcomes as a result of the use of that technology. So if there are schools in the world that have no access to the internet, no access to videos that they can learn from, no access to printers that they can, you know, I don't know, write papers on, how is that gap going to widen? And to see companies like Epson, like World Mobile, working to help keep that gap. I don't know if they're going to close it, but at least to help minimize the growth of that gap. I think that's a very important thing for us all to consider and all to work on as we think about how privileged we are to worry about, you know, power over Ethernet specs in our switch. You know,
absolutely.
Wouldn't some people love to have that problem?
Yes, strongly recommend you check out these news articles. Obviously, make sure that you keep your questions coming in live at sdvoe.org. Keep your chat comments coming in.